Okay guys, we are going to show you how we make our breads. We're going to start off with the original one we started off with, which is a full plantain, which we do about 7 to 8 ounces. The original recipe was. We typically now do 7 ounces because again, for us, just knowing how much we're getting, if you want to keep track of your macros, it's just easier than the 8 ounces. So we recommend 7 ounces, which is 200 grams of plantains. I'm just going to cut them up in a little bit chunks. I just feel like helps it blend in the blender.
Sure, not like the way I cut it. So again, this recipe, we usually share this recipe, again, because we use it as a base usually for our breads or sandwiches.
So it kind of, depends on what else you're eating. It based upon the serving size of plantains. Yes. We could easily each have our own one of this. It just depends. We normally have it with other stuff. So take that into consideration. There's really no wrong or right way to enjoy it.
Also, we add in the coconut oil. We've also done it before. This is semi-soft coconut oil.
Yeah, semi-soft.
And you can do 1 to 2 tablespoons. For this one, we usually like to do 1 inside it, and then I use about a half to another full to grease the pan. So you can either do both if you like it to bake in the oil or put it in there. We've done both, and they both turn out great.
So I'm just going to blend it up a little more to blend that coconut oil in before I grease the pan. You guys out there have questioned us about how substitutions for coconut oil in a lot of our recipes, because you're allergic or you don't like it or not. You could use really any fat in here. You could use a nut butter for not for greasing. You need something like ghee, olive oil or ghee, but ghee and butters would work really great for the coconut oil, and olive oil, it would be a great option as well. Another one, if you want the similar benefits though of coconut oil, there's really nothing much out there that has the same health benefits of coconut oil. The closest thing is red palm oil, but it's going to provide
a different color.
So again, do what works for you, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
And we did not add in baking soda or baking powder to this bread. We wanted to show you what it does with just these 3 ingredients.
So it's nice, smooth, thick batter.
So again, since we're baking it in the larger pan, it is going to be more of a thin bread.
Excuse the noise of me scraping out the blender. There's really no way around that.
Yeah.
We do not leave anything out. Scrape it all out.
Again, if you want a little bit thicker bread, we've also done it again in loaf pans. It does work out great to make it a little bit of a thicker sliced bread. And this is an 8.5 bread loaf pan. So I recommend that, and as Michelle mentioned, a smaller circle pan, an 8 or 9 inch pan will work really well to make it, again, a tad thicker. This is going to be very thin bread. We don't really spread it around either. Once it's in here, we just let it pour and let it cook on its own.
Alright, I guess that'll be good enough. I won't waste any more time scraping it out.
So again, we're not going to spread it out. It's just, I don't know if you can kind of see that, hopefully. And we're just going to stick this in the oven at 350 degrees. And depending on, you kind of have to watch it. Since it's so thin, it usually doesn't take that long to bake. I would say about 12 minutes. So let's do this. So please excuse us. We are not going to be rinsing out our blender. I know that might be gross to some of you guys, but it's all the same ingredients, and it's just for us. So we'll
save the water.
I'm saving time for the video camera. The next we're going to be making is our vegan version of our single serving plantain bread. And the reason why we made this, we're like, oh, we never done this before. Why didn't we have 2 other variations of just another way to enjoy it egg free. One, we tried it the first time we made it with just blending up plantains and oil and water, and it came out kind of like our soca, and it came out a little bit moist and dense. Still very yummy. And then another version we made is, again, a little very thin flatbread with a little bit of baking soda and tahini in there, and that also turned out really nicely too. But then again, we got to playing, let's try it with the flax shell. We've never done it before, let's give it a shot. One last thing though, we have another, besides the 2 Silka recipes, version of this, if you don't want to do a flax gel or anything in it, there are greater options. Another one we have done with chia seeds before. We've done it our chia seed wrap, and we have a video which we'll post the link around here somewhere. It's a great way also to enjoy this. It's a thin wrap and you can roll up and stuff it with things. Yeah. But this one here does provide a little bit closer to more, not quite as a bread texture as the egg skip, but it's pretty close. Yes. We were pretty happy with it. And we did it with 150 grams of plantains, which is a little, like about 5.5 ounces worth of plantains. So again, you can try it with a little bit less or a little bit more plantains if you want. But we're just gonna pop those in, and then our flax
Thank
gel.
goodness for Vitamixes, right?
Flax
Our
gel.
life revolves around
It's 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds with 6 tablespoons water, and then you let it sit for 6 minutes.
6 and 10 minutes.
I mean, sorry, 10 minutes.
I was gonna say we know that it goes 10.
6 tablespoons water that got stuck in my hand.
Okay, here we go. Blend. I might need a little bit of assistance. All right, I think that looks pretty good.
I'm gonna add the oil in. So again, we do 1 tablespoon oil, and I'm also using about a half a tablespoon worth or so in the pan. We're not afraid of our coconut oil over here.
More the better. Bring it.
Get all the goodness. Just want to make sure whatever pan you're using, it's really well greased. That will really help out a lot with the...
It still might stick a little bit, just depends on how well used your pans are, which ours are very well used, and we don't always clean them properly, so take that into mind. But you can tell it's still kind of the similar batter. Hopefully it's getting into the camera there.
Thick, a little bit thicker. But we did notice, we haven't tried the flax gel version yet in something small like a 6-inch pan yet. We've always done it in the 8 or 9-inch pan.
We just felt it needed to be in a
little
spread
bit
out.
thinner.
So then, because if you do it in a too big of a pan,
It might get too wet and soggy and just be goo instead of like bread.
yeah. But you know, just have to experiment for yourself. We've also started experimenting with our plantain bread with using plantain flour. For those that's easier to get your hand on that.
And that works well, so we'll do a recipe on that too. We ran out of it for this video and we ordered more and we thought it would get here in time, but it didn't.
So we'll follow up.
Happens.
So we'll follow up with that one.
But we also will plan on going back and experiment with a lot of our plantain recipes that we use the whole plantains in with plantain flour to let you guys know that if you can't get fresh plantains, you can also make our recipes with plantain flour. We'll give the proper substitutions for that, so look out for that too.
Yeah, and if there's a particular recipe of ours that you've always wanted to make but you can't get access to plantains, let us know. We'll let you know what we think you should use.
Because we have a lot.
Yeah.
So this one we
It's
are
about
going
100 recipes, I
So
think.
this one's a little bit thicker, as you can see, and we are going to spread this one out a little bit.
Yeah, just take the back and spread it.
One chunk of plantain.
One
Sometimes
plantain chunk.
some of our recipes we noticed we didn't quite blend perfectly, and there'll be like a little small chunk of.
You probably
plantain.
might have
Little
seen
surprise
them in
there.
the videos, but hey. Okay.
So now this also is going to go in the oven at 350 degrees, and it's probably going to bake a little bit longer than the egg version one. So we're going to start at 15 minutes, and you just kind of watch it from there. Okay, so we are down to the last third recipe, our variation of our...
earlier, it's about half.
Yeah, it's 100 grams. It's called our we do it as a single serve. This is the one that we tend to always go to now for our plantain bread. It's just the perfect ratio we feel. So again, it's 100 grams of plantains to 2 whole eggs, this tablespoon oil, and then today I'm adding in a little bit something different. I'm adding in some chocolate. Thanks. Just kidding. It's part of my lunch. Chocolate protein powder. It's a pea-based protein powder.
Okay, time to blend.
Okay, so again, I'm going to be adding in, this is about 3 to 4 tablespoons of protein powder. You can add in as much or as little as you want, but that's usually a good range. And then again, the 1 tablespoon oil.
We'll have to give a review soon on the pea protein we're using. We're loving it. Let us know if you like pea protein or what's your favorite protein powder out there. And do you like protein in your recipes? Protein powder, I guess I should be more specific. That was a silly question. That was silly.
Can't wait to eat this one. This one we're actually going to be doing in this our 6-inch cake pan to kind of show you again the smaller and a little bit thicker. And we have done it before. We just heavily grease this, but for whatever reason, this pan always seems to stick.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
So we always have to put some type of wax paper or parchment paper down. This helps, again, it pop out a lot easier. like that. And I'm still gonna just lightly grease the sides a little bit, because again, that can tend to stick too. So you have to kind of know your pans too. If you know your pans tend to stick, then you might just need to add a little bit more oil. All right, pour in.
Pour that in. Again, a nice, pretty, smooth batter.
And you can also, I forgot to mention, if you want, you can also add in some sea salt to any of these variations if you want that little touch of salt. Sometimes we just sprinkle it on top.
Yeah. We just try to keep our recipes as simple as possible. That's why we don't always say baking powder, baking soda.
And sometimes we don't really include those as an ingredient because it's baking soda or baking powder.
Yeah.
So do your own preference, you know. As you can tell, it's very easy to customize to your specific liking, which is one thing that's so great about this recipe. And we're so happy we came across it. We're so thrilled that so many of you guys have been loving it. We've done so many posts just sharing all of our plantain love. We have a whole plantain Pinterest board highlighting all of our Pinterest plantain love recipes, and then we've come across all of you guys making variations of different things using plantains, which is we just love seeing. There's so many, you guys are so creative. Oh, can we eat this? And the other ones are just about done. Okay, scrape it out very good.
Well, you'll have to let me know if I did a good job. All right, just gonna gently kind of just wiggle it around. It pretty much went to the sides on its own.
So now I'm going to pop this again in a 350 degree oven.
Okay, the first one's out.
This is the original one that started it all for us, our obsession with plantain bread.
It's a great one. It's a great basic one to get started with, and then you can start experimenting with all these other ones.
So again, depending on your pan, sometimes what's easy for Michelle and I, what we do to get this out, sometimes it pops out very easily and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a little booger and it wants to stick to the bottom of the pan. So we scrape around the sides and then we actually kind of slice it into 4 slices and then take out 1 slice at a time. So you could try that as well. Or you can kind of let it kind of cool completely, but we're not patient enough to wait for it to cool. So we just kind of dive in, and sometimes it doesn't always look the prettiest. But Michelle is determined to get it out.
Seems to be not sticking to the sides.
You must have greased it really well. Go me.
Yeah, there it comes. There it comes. Just kind of gently work it around. Hopefully you guys can see me doing this. And then just gonna lift it out. So it didn't stick at all. So
greased it perfectly. It was about half a tablespoon oil, I would say, that I put in there. As you can tell, it is super, super thin. So it's great, again, for like a thin pizza.
It's a great way to use for sandwiches when you really want, like when we first made it, we stuffed it with like avocado, turkey, lettuce. So it was a huge sandwich, so it was nice to have a thin bread to bite into.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut it so you guys can see. It's going to be really hot. But so there you go, a nice thin sliced piece of bread. Again, we usually slice it into 4ths. So moist and delicious. So you just fill it with whatever you want and you have a nice sandwich.
Okay, so we just pulled out the vegan one already, and it's about 15 to 20 minutes on the vegan one. Again, knowing that the eggs aren't in there really baking it, you know, think about that in terms of the scent. So it still comes out a little bit denser than the ones with the eggs. And the lollipop does, and again, if you let them chill just slightly, they don't be 100% cooled, but just be aware if they are a little hot, they might break a little bit. But there's her little small protein one.
So again, you can see I'll cut it in half. It's a little bit, not little bit, it's good size thickness compared to the original recipe. So you can see the difference. See, we usually go to the smaller pans.
It's like 2 of this.
Yeah, so we usually like to go to the smaller pans. You know, 6 to 8 inch pans we recommend, so you can have, well, we just like really thick ones, but we also like the thin ones too. They're still cute. So anyway, so I'm super excited to eat this.
Looks great. Everything looks
great.
Plantain bread. Hope you guys enjoyed being in the kitchen with us today, making our plantain bread a few different ways. Again, we'll recap all this over on the blog, so you can have a printable for all of them. And make sure to hit the link down below for that.
Make sure when you make this plantain bread or any of these variations, don't forget to tag us, Purely Twins.
We want to see them.
Yes, you guys have come up with such great ways to use it into your daily life, and we're super excited This is going to be a staple in our life forever, and it's just quick and easy.
Plantain power!
That's right, and plantains are so versatile for so many things. If you're unsure, if you want to get in using more plantains, because they're very easy to make, easy, simple, yummy, grain-free recipes, make sure you head over to our blog.
Real food. It's not using a flour thing. It's a real thing that we saw this peel. It was in
That's
a blender.
why we tend to use it so much in
a lot of you guys want more of us using this. I think you guys feel the same way. You want to indulge, you want to have a brownie, you want to have we make them all out of plantain, so we're so super glad you guys are enjoying them as much as we are, and we will keep sharing them more. Thanks again for support. Give this video a like if you enjoyed making plantain bread with us today.
We're off to go enjoy these yummy plantain breads, and we'll see you guys next week in the next video.